If you are a content creator or a business owner and you're looking for unique creative ways to market yourself, look no further. In today's video, I'm gonna be sharing my absolute favorite unique marketing campaign ideas for you to just go ahead and steal. By the way, this video is brought to you by Pixar, more on them later. Okay, so the first idea that I'm gonna throw out there, I've got a good feeling about this one, I think you're gonna love it. I'm calling it inclusive exclusivity. It's basically when you create a private community where you offer something which is exclusive, like content or discounts or maybe even access to you, and you offer this exclusively to people within that community. The inclusive part comes from the fact that anyone is able to access this private community. They just need to do a few steps in order to do so. Let me give you an example of this, because on the surface, this might sound like something you already know about or you've done before, but I feel like when I give you this example, it's going to open your mind as to how creative you can really get with this. This example comes from Billie Eilish, who, I was about to explain who Billie Eilish is. Isn't she like one of the biggest artists in the world at the minute? I feel like everyone watching probably knows who she is, right? So Billie Eilish added all of her followers to her close friends list. You know, on Instagram where you can have your own close friends list, which basically means that only a certain group of people who follow you are actually able to see some of your content. The content is the exclusive part, but Billie Eilish flipped this feature on its head and invited all of her 100 million plus followers to become her close friends. Now, this generated so many headlines, and not even just headlines. There were so many discussion forums which opened up from Billie Eilish fans who were all confused into thinking that they were part of this elite group who got to see Billie Eilish's private stories. The truth is that Billie Eilish did this as a way to promote her new album. She took a feature that was previously exclusive, she made it inclusive to all of her content, and then shared content specifically using that feature to promote her new album. So whilst, yes, all of her followers were able to see that content, anyone who wasn't her follower, like me, for example, wasn't able to see it. Do you see how she used the mix of inclusivity and exclusivity to drum up so much excitement around her album? And I know what you're thinking. Billie Eilish has a bigger audience than you do. Maybe she doesn't, and if so, who are you? And as if you're watching my content. For most of us, she has a far bigger audience than us. And I get that that fact might make you think that this idea isn't for you. But there are so many creators who have similar audience sizes to us who are using the same mechanic behind the hack and just doing it in our own little way. For example, broadcast channels, which are basically one big group chat between you and your audience. That's a way for you to share exclusive content, access, discount codes, whatever it may be with your audience, but also making it inclusive because anyone can join your broadcast channel. I have a YouTube membership where people can subscribe. It's called Behind the Business. There's a join button below, and you get exclusive content from me, like the behind the scenes of my business and my life, every single month. That is available for everyone to join. However, the content that I'm offering and the access that I'm offering is exclusive to those who choose to join. See what I'm getting at here? Okay, so before we move on, I do want to share a tool with you which is going to make it easy for you to create high quality content to market yourself or your business or your brand. Most importantly, this tool is going to allow you to do this with ease. Now, a common problem that you are going to have, and I know you have this problem because you're watching this video, so I already feel like I understand where you're at in your journey, right? A problem that a lot of us have when it comes to marketing ourselves or our business is that there is such a high demand for so much content. Because of all of the different social media channels out there and our commitment to providing high quality, consistent content, we often find ourselves in a situation where we feel quite overwhelmed, and also asking ourselves, how are we going to make this much high quality content to satisfy our audience and also the algorithm gods? Well, one way that we can do this is to make our content work harder. I'm sure all of us have thousands of photos in our library that we could potentially use to market ourselves or our products, and we're probably not using them because they've got minor imperfections, like there's a person in the background, or maybe there's a sign in the background that we don't want to be there. And because those imperfections are there, we feel like we can't use that content anymore. Well, that is when this tool comes in. This tool is from Pixar, and it's called their remove tool. So I'm going to open up my app, Pixar app, so you can see what I'm looking at, right? And I'm going to show you an insane example, because I feel like I've shown you examples of this in my videos before, but let's turn up the notch a bit and let's do like a really hard example. This is a photo that I took when I was in central London the other day. I was having a delightful picnic. It was lovely. I'm going to click on the remove button and I'm going to try and remove these people who were sitting in front of me. Okay. And you can change the brush size as well. I'm just going a bit lazy, so I'm using the bigger size. How mad? Isn't that incredible? And you can go through and touch it up if you want to. And just like that, I've removed a whole bench and a family from my photo. How insane. So that's obviously just one example of how you can use this tool. But as a bit of homework, I know I never usually set homework, but maybe I should start doing that. As homework for this video, I want you to go through your photo album and look for all of those photos which either promote yourself or the product or the service that you sell that you have never wanted to show because of that small imperfection in the background. And I want you to download Pixar using the link in my description. Use that removal tool, and I'm willing to bet that that photo will now become a really quality asset for you to use across social media to market your business. Do not forget to click on the link in my description to download download Pixar. Let's move on to the next unique marketing idea. All right, so this one I'm calling going analog, even though I'm not sure if that's the right word. Basically, this idea is like an opposite to a digital idea. Most of the time, our ideas are like social media focused or something to do with a digital channel. This one is not digital, so I'm calling it analog. I reckon that works. So the example that I'm going to use here is an Australian podcast called Shameless. I think the media company is called Shameless Media. In the early days of their podcast, when they had a very small budget, they printed out posters talking about their podcast. They just printed them out themselves and they stuck them behind bathroom toilets in universities across Australia. Now, the reason why this is such a clever idea is one, because it's so cost effective. Like, yes, you would have had to pay for printing. You may have had to pay for a designer to use the posters, but using online tools like Pixar, for example, you'll be able to create something high quality yourself at an affordable price, right? So yeah, there is some money being exchanged, but it's nowhere near as much as running a whole billboard campaign. But even though this didn't cost a lot of money, it was highly effective. And the reason for that was because it was highly targeted. The girls who run Shameless Media, they are fully aware that their audience are young women who may be attending universities. Therefore, by putting up these posters on the doors in women's bathrooms across universities in Australia, they were clearly targeting their audience. Now, the thing is with this idea and any other idea that I talk about is that you have to have the product to back it up. So yes, those posters meant that they were targeting their audience, but the reason why that campaign really worked for them is because some people would then listen to the podcast and realize it was amazing and then tell their friends and family about it, which would bring them on to the next stage of their marketing campaign, which was word of mouth. And this is quite simply when people are just talking about you to others. And this word of mouth that you can generate from such a cost-effective campaign can literally change the trajectory of your business or your brand, but only if the product or the service or the content that you create is really good. Otherwise, it's just not going to trigger the word of mouth that you need. The next one I'm calling the new way to offer a freebie. Now, a lot of you guys watching this are already familiar with the concept of a freebie. It is basically when you create something for free, you offer it to your audience, and it's a way for you to build trust with your audience, gather their data, allow them to get to know you, X, Y, Z. What I'm referring to here is creating something for free, but doing it in a really cool, unique way. Now, I have done this so many times for my business. I've hosted free online events. So gone are the days of your boring, stale webinars. I would host entire virtual experiences where I would give away tech. I would get different creators and business owners on and interview them. And that was my way of putting a unique spin on like your standard free webinar. But people are doing way more creative things than that. Like, people are getting way more creative than I am. Let's take Stephanie Sword-Williams as an example. Now, Stephanie is the author of F Being Humble. I always have to remind myself not to swear in these videos because I know some of you guys watch these when you've got kids with you. It's called F Being Humble. Great book, highly recommend. She is a marketing genius and she is known to offer free career coaching just out on the streets of London and New York. Now, this is such a cool campaign because not only does it allow her to help others demonstrate the value that she offers to people as well, but it also captures people's attention and makes for amazing social media content. Now, stick with me when it comes to Stephanie because she's actually the inspo for the final unique marketing campaign as well. So let's move on to that one. Now, this unique marketing campaign I'm calling a walking billboard. Now, we all know what billboards are, you know, like the big posters. They're actually called out of home, like OOH, or digital out of home in the marketing world. I don't know why I told you that. Like, you don't care. Point is, billboards for marketers are highly expensive, but very good at driving awareness for businesses and brands. For most of us, billboards are out of the question. Like, unless a huge brand is going to champion us and feature us on a billboard that they've paid for the most part, we're rarely gonna... Mojo's just sniffing the microphone. Hello. I feel like she gets annoyed with me when I'm filming. You can see her little ears. I didn't even sleep, but I've got to make content. I've got bills to pay for, babe. Are you paying for any bills? No, I didn't think so. So yeah, unless a huge brand is going to pay for a billboard and feature you on it, which does happen, by the way, for most of us, purchasing your standard traditional billboard is going to be out of the question. That's why I love this walking billboard idea. So again, Stephanie, author of F Being Humble, she is the queen of making herself a walking billboard. She took a trip to New York and decided to make that her time to become a billboard of herself. In this photo, you can see that she's got her book in a see-through bag so that people can see her book as she walks down the street. Very low key, super easy. She steps it up a notch though. The jacket that she's wearing actually has the title to her book on her bag. So now everyone who sees her from the back is also going to see the title of her book. Again, walking billboard. She then took it one step further and created a sign what had the name of her book and held that up on the streets of New York to create this iconic photo. Very similar to that Man with Sign account that went viral years ago. It's kind of giving that vibe. And last but not least, to be honest, I'm sure she's done several other things as well. She printed out her own posters and she just stuck them around the streets of New York and got some really cool photos taken with her alongside them. Again, this is genius for so many reasons. Not only does it allow her to actually become a walking billboard for her brand, but it also is great content for her to share on her social media channels after the trip too. If you want to take this one step further, why not integrate QR codes so that anyone who sees your posters, whether it's you or an actual poster, is able to find your contact information or your social media channels and stay in touch or follow up with you after coming in contact with your amazing branding. Okay, my loves, I hope you found that useful and I hope you loved all those marketing ideas. Let me know which one is your favorite in the comments below. Do not forget to check out Pixar and get to work using their remover tool. Of course, the link to Pixar is in the description below. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's my ultimate Instagram marketing guide, so I feel like you would get a lot of value from it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I cannot wait to see you in my next video.